I'm really happy to be here today with a wonderful group of people. We've got Becca and Matt and Tilly and Rich. Guys, thank you so much for joining me online on Zoom. And I just wanted to ask you a little bit about your experience of Alpha, because you've all done it fairly recently. Becca, should we start with you? Did you have a kind of religious upbringing, and like, would you describe yourself as like a regular churchgoer before Alpha?
No, so I guess before Alpha, religion never played a part in my personal life, but I was around religion quite a bit with my parents being of different faiths. So I went to church and temple growing up, but it never featured in my life. It was almost like something that happened on the outer circles of my world, really, especially as a child. It wasn't really even remotely on a personal radar until, I guess it was until I started meeting people who did have faith, especially Rich, who's on here as well, and his wife Annabelle, and it was them that suggested that I go along to Alpha in Bristol in a new church with young people, they promised me, people similar to me, and yeah, I guess that's when it started becoming part of my actual world.
I had a very different upbringing to Becca. My parents weren't religious at all. I think the only time I stepped into a church as a child was for school hymn services and when I was christened. Other than that, it was a completely alien place to me. And then I was going through a particularly difficult period of my life, and Rich said, "Hey, why don't you go on Alpha?" And at that time, I was trying to say yes to everyone and everything. If someone offered me to do something, yeah, sure, I'll do it. So I immediately agreed and was like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll do Alpha. I went along to Alpha, thoroughly enjoyed it, so much so that since then I've now been on a second Alpha course as a helper. I know it sounds very cliche, but it genuinely has been quite a life-changing experience for me, where Becca didn't have the real big enlightening moment. I really feel like I actually did.
Tilly, you're friends with Becca. Tell us a little bit about your journey and how that started.
Yeah, so I've been friends with Becca for about 4 years, and actually the Alpha course was running during lockdown, and Becca suggested me coming along. And initially I said yeah, and then actually the closer it came, the more I was a little bit find reasons to not want to go. For me, having it online just broke down so many barriers to me being able to get to church. It came at such an important part, and I think it just helped myself through a lot of difficult times to just know that there's something bigger out there than yourself. I think, yeah, it's made a massive change in my life.
And Rich, so you were the one who invited Becca in the first place, so you're responsible for all of this. How did you go about inviting? And because I think a lot of people feel inviting someone's that's quite a difficult thing to do. I mean, you're like a serial inviter.
In my experience, it does take courage to invite people, and it's often the people that you know the best that you want to share something which is really important in your life with. I think Alpha is a great opportunity in a non-threatening way just to explore faith. So explore something which is can be quite a sort of scary subject for some people. But also, I think what we found, and actually through Becca and Matt, is just been praying for them before that time, just committing to them in prayer, and then there's a time where you just put yourself out there and see whether they're interested or not. For me, sort of a reminder that prayer is powerful, and it does work, and it does open doors, and it creates opportunities, and it's always for us really to take those opportunities and pluck up the courage and go for it. But also I've had some times when people have said no, and actually I just remembered I invited my hairdresser, Sebastian. He said no, and it was quite a long haircut after that, because you don't want to go too early in a haircut after you've gone to Alpha.
Well, guys, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it, and see you all soon.